Hey, Jeff.
Hey, Eric.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing well, thanks.
Really good. I'm doing really good.
Yeah, where are we right now?
We are up at the Lox's studio recording a Two Jews and Two Black Dudes episode.
Yeah, tell them what we watched, baby.
We watched The Last
Dragon. The Last Dragon. He almost forgot. Holy shit.
How could you forget that?
The Last
Dragon.
You're going to fucking love it. Tune in right now.
Bruce Leroy.
Incredible.
Yo, Styles, what are you doing on Wednesday, October 3rd?
Smoking weed, gonna be in the Highline Ballroom.
Yo, what you doing there? I'm gonna come and join you.
Yeah, come join me. It's a show called Two Jews and Two Black Dudes Review the Movies.
Oh, that's nice.
Live.
That's dope.
Highline Ballroom.
You bringing anybody?
3rd. Yeah.
You mind if I tag along?
Let's go.
Come on in, brother.
No doubt. Don't miss it. I'll be there.
So everybody is Two Jews, Two Black Dudes.
Highline Ballroom, October 3rd.
Special guests. Don't miss it. We're gonna watch a movie live. You'll be there watching it with us. You'll be able to kick it with us, give feedback. Watch Crazy Chic Luch, watch fucking psychopath, fucking serial killer Jeff. And Eric and myself. And just, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be fucking lit.
Yep.
That was really good. That was
Yeah,
good.
Jadakiss, if people want to go get their tickets, where can they go?
That was good. That was really good.
ItsTheReal.com.
We're back at the apartment, Jeff. Last November, we had the Locks come over for a Locks-specific episode of A Waste of Time with It's The Real. And in the middle of that conversation, Styles and Chic started talking about movies and were very animated in their conversation about films. And we said, you know what? You guys should have your own podcast where you guys review movies.
And Stahl said, no. We should have a podcast called Two Jews and Two Black Dudes Review the Movies. And we did it.
And we said yes. I mean, that's one of the greatest things that you can do, guys. If an opportunity comes your way, take it. We didn't know what was going to happen with this idea. And
I don't think they knew what was going to happen either. I mean, you know, Styles was on an edible.
So maybe he did know. Maybe he just saw the future and said it out loud. But regardless, here we are all these months later. We've watched movies with them, including Black Panther.
Number 171.
Coco.
Number 192.
Trading Places.
Number 195.
We did a whole thing about Netflix recommendations.
Number 156.
We also saw You've Got Mail, the 1998 seminal romantic comedy with Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan.
Number 201.
And most recently, a movie that Jeff and I had never seen, much to the surprise of many of you apparently, The Last Dragon.
Number 208.
So here's the thing, guys. This has grown into this beast that we never even considered before Styles brought it up. And here we are in 2018, a week and a half away from doing our first live event as Two Jews and, well, Three Black Dudes review the movies.
Yeah, Jadakiss will be in the building.
That's right. So Styles P, Chic Luch, Jeff, myself, Jadakiss, and special guests will all be on stage at Highline Ballroom October 3rd, which is not this Wednesday, but the next Wednesday. You can get your tickets right now at ItsTheReal.com. We're all going to watch a movie together. We're going to do commentary during the movie. We're going to do a Q&A after the movie. It's going to be so much fun.
A lot of jokes.
Oh, and by the way, we have special merch.
It's an official collaboration.
It's an official collaboration. We emailed 5 times. On the 5th email, we got permission. Mm-hmm. And we're only selling this merch at Highline Ballroom on October 3rd. So you have to have a ticket to be in the building to buy this merch. We are not selling it afterwards. Highline Ballroom, New York City, October 3rd, which is not this Wednesday, but the next Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Two Jews and Two Black Dudes review the movies live. Get your tickets at ItsTheReal.com.
Two Jews and Three Black Dudes review the movies.
Sorry. Get those tickets at ItsTheReal.com.
Maybe we'll do Three Jews and Three Black Dudes.
The possibilities, frankly, are endless.
Yeah.
So let's leave it up to your imagination. But one thing that will not change, it's happening October 3rd at Highline Ballroom.
Review the movies.
But, guys, here's another thing, too. We were lucky enough to be set up with Abrams Publishing, and we put out a book on September 4th called Rhyme Book. It is a lined notebook with a lot of original It's The Real material. And we wanted to do a special deal for those of you who haven't gotten your rhyme book yet.
Yes, we have 3 copies of Rhyme Book, our book, to give away. So if you buy 2 tickets right now to our show at Highline Ballroom, which we may have mentioned a couple of times.
Right. ItsTheReal.com.
If you buy 2 tickets right now and you send us the receipt to Jeff at ItsTheReal.com, we will send you a rhyme book signed by not only us,
Yeah.
but also 3 black dudes.
Just 3 random guys.
Yeah, but also the Locks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
one of our doormen.
that's right. Let's not forget.
Yeah.
So we have a new doorman, by the way. So maybe we'll have him sign it.
He is from El Salvador.
Oh, that's where he's from. Okay. So
Yeah.
it could be someone from Chile. It could be somebody from El Salvador. It could be someone from Ecuador.
Yep.
So it could be somebody from Puerto Rico.
Yep.
That's where all of our doormen are from?
That's
I think that's it.
That's it.
Okay. So 3...
Or it could be the porter. He's from like the Bronx.
Regardless, you're going to get a signed copy of Rhyme Book if you buy 2 tickets right now to our live show on October 3rd at Highline Ballroom. ItsTheReal.com. Jeff, who is on the podcast today?
On the podcast today is Cam Kirk.
When you think of Atlanta, you think of Cam Kirk, but he's not from Atlanta.
No.
He's actually from the DMV.
Uh-oh, breaking news.
But
I hope you guys still support him.
we talk a lot about his Atlanta experiences working with Gucci Mane, Young Scooter, Future,
Metro
Boomin, a whole host of Atlanta artists and producers and notables. But we do get into what it was like growing up, the child of divorced parents who actually lived very close to each other. And also, I loved when he was just like, in 8th grade, I just decided to get really into religion.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to listen to any rap music. I'm not going to see any popular movies. And then in 9th grade, he was like, no, fuck that. I'm going to get back into what I actually want to like.
GP, are you with me?
Oh, yeah. Shout out to
Our brother Kirk Franklin.
That's right, Kirk Franklin.
Yes.
All of GP. And actually, shout out to the A, shout out to the DMV, shout out to everybody who's doing construction outside.
Shout out to the GDs.
All that. What I really find fascinating about him is that he comes at photography with a marketer's perspective.
Oh, did we mention that he's a photographer?
He's a photographer.
Okay, so just making sure he's a photographer.
And a videographer and a director.
And a friend.
Definitely a friend.
And a brother.
And a son. All of that. But when he deals with photography, he's not looking at it just like an artist. He actually pictures how this is going to be used on billboards, in magazine spreads, on websites, and how that can help an artist, which is unique to the conversations that we've had with other photographers and artists who have been up here.
Yeah.
Which is really neat. Really great podcast. We're very excited to bring this podcast to you. Shout out to our friend Peter Caden, who made it happen. Shout out to Cam. Shout out to Joseph Patel, who was in the building. Jeff, when do you want to get into this episode?
Right after people review our podcast on iTunes. People have been commenting recently that they like the tall one and the curly-haired one.
It's great content.
So keep doing that.
Yeah, we're with it.
Yeah.
Also, October 3rd, Highline Ballroom. Get your tickets right now. 2 Jews and 2 black dudes review the movies. ItsTheReal.com.
3
Jeff.
black dudes.
What?
3 black dudes.
Oh, okay. Jeff,
Yeah.
when do you want to get into this podcast?
4 black dudes.
When?
Right now.
Yo, what up? It's Eric, a.k.a. Pirate's Treasure, a.k.a. Say It With Your Chest.
Yo, what up? It's Jeff, a.k.a. Kicker Out of Bed, a.k.a. Rollover Minutes.
Wow. I need my AKA. This is Cam Kirk, AKA Cameron Kirk.
Yeah, this is a waste of time, but it's the real. Cam, what's happening?
What's going on, guys?
Everything's good. Welcome to New York City.
Thank you. Proper welcome.
You said you were gonna, yeah, just like that. You get shouted at everywhere you go.
Yeah.
You said you were gonna stay out here for a good long while.
Yeah.
But you're just here for like a break from home.
A break, a getaway.
Nice.
I like to come to New York to get inspired. I like to just watch people walk down the street. That's inspiring to me.
Well,
Yeah.
what's the difference between people here and people at home? At home meaning Atlanta.
Yeah, I hope Atlanta doesn't get mad, but I feel like people work here. It's that simple. Like people just don't. You just can't see people working in Atlanta. Like where do people work? There's no like downtown where their offices. Like a friend of mine got locally famous for wearing suits every day, and it's like, why is that an anomaly?
Well, to
That's
be fair,
so dope, though.
Farnsworth
Yeah.
got famous for wearing suits too.
That is
so,
true.
You know,
But
yeah.
it's like, are we that like not used to seeing people go to work that he
Yeah.
wears a suit and he's famous? Like, it's crazy.
That's his one thing. He just wears suits.
he's a great businessman too. He's a lawyer.
Oh, good for him.
So he's doing his thing, but it's just like
Wait,
in
he's
our
a
scene-
lawyer and he wears suits?
Yeah.
That's still a thing.
No,
yeah.
I feel like that's like very on brand.
It should be.
Yeah, like
yeah, he's doing his thing.
Is he your lawyer?
He's young. Yeah. He's
Okay.
young.
Yeah, I would want my lawyer to wear a suit as well.
yeah.
Nah, we appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly.
Shouts to
What are you
him.
paying him for? Just to wear sweats?
I feel like the bar has been lowered where it's like a lawyer's wearing a suit and you're like, oh, well, I'm going to follow him on Instagram.
Does he do all of his work from home?
No, he works out of a law office, so.
Because I don't know, we work out of our apartment, as you can see. I don't know that I would ever wear a suit to a function in my own apartment.
to walk like 3 feet out, sit here.
Yeah, go get lunch.
Try.
Our guests show up in like
You think-
off-white.
Yeah.
Do you think
The
people would take
energy.
us more seriously if we dress in suits?
Hey, I think it'll be a good look.
Would you have?
Wait, are you judging us now not for wearing suits?
No, because you guys got good swag on.
Oh, thank you very
Okay,
much.
yeah,
All right,
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
You are a great guest. Cam, where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Prince George's County, Maryland, right
Hey.
outside of D.C.
All right. Yeah, our parents are originally from Silver Spring.
Oh, okay.
We have
Great.
cousins who grew up in Northwest DC.
Okay.
And our aunt still lives in Chevy Chase.
Okay,
So we know
DMV.
a few things down about the DMV.
Yeah. How
Well,
often do you guys go?
now,
Probably like twice a year.
twice a
Okay.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How often do you go?
About twice a year.
All
So
right.
we're eating
We'll see
on-
you
Yeah.
there.
See you at Passover.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we go down to see our aunt, and sometimes we try to soak in some of the ambiance
Right.
in Washington.
Yeah, go say hi to Fat Trell.
Yes. Yeah.
You know.
Gotta do that.
Yeah, check in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was growing up in Prince George's County like?
Wow. Growing up in Prince George's County was so different than the lifestyle I'm in now. I grew up really honestly very sheltered. I was blessed to have 4 parents. My parents got divorced and actually gave me 2 more parents. So
Wow.
I had 4 parents growing up. So I was always well looked after and protected. And I had an older brother as well. So growing up there was just all about sports, and that's about it.
How
Sports.
far did your parents, the couples, live from each other?
5 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
so
that
it was-
good or is that too much?
It was great because thankfully my parents were able to work things out where we had joint custody. They had joint custody, so
Amazing.
I spent 2 weeks with my dad, 2 weeks with my mom, 2 weeks with my dad. So it was convenient to not have to pick up and travel 30 minutes.
No kidding.
To someone else's house.
And you didn't have to switch schools.
Yeah,
Which is probably the
everything
most
can stay
important
the
thing,
same.
right?
Yeah, so it was an easy transition. So
Yeah.
it was great.
What was the smallest but most annoying rule that was different in the 2 households?
The most annoying rule is my stepdad hates when you wear hats in the house.
As a matter of respect.
Yeah, he's very on that. Like, even something else he used to always get on me. If you eating a bag of chips, he wants you to pour the chips on a plate and not eat out the bag. And I'm just like, it's chips, man. Like, I'm just trying to eat as much as I need. I'll roll the bag back up. So he was very on that. And then my dad's side, at my dad's house, it was like no rules for the most part. Like, it was just kind of like,
Put your chips wherever you want.
do what you do, man.
Yeah.
Because we're not cooking for you, so go in there, eat chips for dinner if you need it. Like, whatever you got to do. It's kind of like more of a fend for yourself, but it was cool.
So
Yeah,
That was the fun side.
If you needed dinner, you just go 5 minutes down the street and then, you
Yeah.
know.
Do what you got to do.
But if they weren't cooking for you, does that mean you were cooking early?
Yeah, my dad made sure we were stocked with Chef Boyardee.
Mhm.
Heat up stuff from the freezer, stuff you can just put in the oven. Like, he kept the fridge stocked with that, but it wasn't a lot of like family dinners over there.
And it was you and your brother.
Yeah,
Older brother?
older brother, 3 years older than me.
3 years old. So you went to school together.
Yep, 1 year, or most of our years, and in high school, yeah.
Yeah.
Freshman, he was a senior.
Did he have a good reputation?
I think so. He played sports. He played basketball, and
So
he's pretty
teachers
cool.
weren't looking at you crazy being like, uh-oh, another one.
Oh, nah.
Or were they looking at you being like, well, your brother had a certain level of respect around here,
I
and
think it was a
you
little
should live
more
up
of
to
It was
that?
a little
Yeah.
more of that, like chasing. You're always chasing your big brother's shadows in a certain way. So it's been that my whole life.
Mm-hmm. Were you always tall for your age?
No, I was always very skinny for my age, like ridiculously skinny, like almost a problem. Very kind of lanky. I wasn't really tall until I would say maybe like the end of high school, maybe a little bit.
We
of
were on the same wave.
college.
Yeah, I feel like, yeah.
And now I'm considered tall. Which
Yeah.
is
And you've put weight on, which is like, a little
Yeah, that
dope.
helps.
I'm still like riding out that, why bother?
Yeah. I
You need to eat
I'm trying
more
lose
chips.
weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to lose weight. So I love being skinny.
Are you actively trying to lose weight, or is it like just in your head? Yeah,
It's in my
exactly.
head, my
See, now
mind.
I'm on your wave.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I'm just like, oh yeah, no, I need to lose weight. I'll start tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I say I'm gonna start when I turn 30. So I got a
Okay.
little bit of time.
What was high school like for you?
Man, high school, I was the very, very, very quiet kid in high school. I did no talking to anybody. But I wasn't like the quiet kid that you were scared you might shoot up the school. Quiet, but it was just like,
Good.
I don't know, he just doesn't really talk. Like,
Right.
He's very to himself. But I was like still cool. Like I still was in the latest fashion trends or whatever. And I worked a cool job outside of school. I
What
had a
job was
cool
that?
Sneaker job at DTLR. It's a little sneaker store.
Right on.
So I had that. I had the cool job. So people still wanted to know what I was about, but I just
Right, you were more mysterious than.
yeah, much more mysterious.
Yeah.
And then I didn't really open up at all, really, while I was in high school at all. I just kind of was to myself. But like I said, I always knew what was going on. I could tell you who's dating who's what's going on, what's the latest gossip.
Yo, people must have wished that you were talking.
I know. There was
I had all the gems.
There was a kid in my grade, I remember, Lawrence, and he was totally silent, right? Would not share anything with anyone, would not like hang out with anyone, just loner by himself. But it wasn't, again, it wasn't like shoot him up,
Right.
scary. It was like he would draw naked girls in his book, and all the girls like loved him from afar. And I was like, but why? I just couldn't like comprehend why. And I don't know what he's up to anymore, but
Yeah, we got to check in on
hopefully,
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, or do
Maybe
we?
maybe he's a famous artist by now.
No, I think he's a lawyer in Atlanta. He wears a suit.
Oh, okay.
In high school, though, are you a good student?
Yeah, fairly good. 3.5 for
Oh.
GPA.
That's really good.
Yeah, I was pretty good.
How did you get your job at the sneaker store?
When I was 16, I just knew I wanted a job. Like, I just knew I didn't want to depend on anybody, and I always wanted, like, a cool job. So I literally was just in the mall one day and just applied, and I don't know, I just got it.
What'd you put down on your resume?
And I'm old, man. That was 13 years ago. I have no idea.
Good at
something good.
Microsoft
Yeah.
Excel.
Yeah.
Athletic. I don't know. Something. Play sports. I don't know. Something that worked.
And
Has
you got
been to Foot Locker.
yeah. So you got the job. Did you move up in the job?
Never. Nah.
It was always just. Were you a salesman?
Sales associate.
Yep.
Yeah, I stayed there pretty much. I worked there a long time, for about 6 years, even into college.
So you sold some shoes.
Yeah. I was good at that. I was decent at that. The shoes really sold themselves.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to do much. Our job was more a hangout spot. We just used to hang out there.
Was there anybody cool who came through?
Yeah, DTLR is like a cooler Foot Locker to me. So it's like we were really mixed in like hip hop culture stores. So we would play the latest hip hop music. We would have meet and greets with whoever's the big artist at the time. So yeah, we've had people come through. Maryland is a very like basketball town. So like I can remember Kevin Durant coming through, Michael Beasley, people like that. You know, more than it wasn't a lot of rappers. You know,
Yeah.
we don't get a lot of rappers. But you know, back Maryland, there's a lot of like go-go music. So you might have the local go-go band might come through, and it'd be somebody that, you know, everybody knows.
Did you grow up on go-go?
I didn't grow up on it because my brother wasn't too keen to it. I grew up more on R&B music, and
Like what?
like I can remember Drew Hill,
Yeah.
Jodeci, were some like very early songs I remember like in elementary school.
Those are some mature songs for an elementary school kid.
It was. I had no idea what they were talking about.
I mean, somebody sleeping in my bed. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, exactly.
I just thought it was a ghost or something. I don't know what I thought it was. I definitely didn't think it was what it is now. But I remember Drew Hill was the first cassette that I bought, that same album. I think it's called Enter the Drew or something.
Yep.
And yeah, I remember I loved every song on there. 5 Steps, Never Make a Promise. So I was really big on like R&B music.
And they're from Maryland.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, did you ever see the video of Drew Hill reuniting on a radio station, and then one of the members quits during the interview? And then they argue in a parking lot, and it's one of the best videos on the internet. Everybody should go check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will immediately check that out because that sounds funny.
Oh, it's...
Which member quit? Do you know?
I don't remember. It wasn't Cisco, and it wasn't Nokia. It was...
One of the other two that we don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Woody.
Oh.
Maybe
You really
Woody.
are a big Drew Hill fan.
Yeah, that was a test.
I know.
I was a super fan to the point where when Woody went gospel, I bought his gospel.
That's who it was. It was
Wow.
Yeah, because he was like, I'm gonna go gospel. Yeah.
And I bought his gospel.
Did you go gospel?
I did.
Really?
I actually did. I actually gave up hip hop music, rap music, rated R movies when I was in 8th grade. I did a whole year of never listening to hip hop, or I stopped watching all rated R movies, everything.
Why?
Well, I was really into church. Yeah, I got really into this pastor that I had, like just his sermons and stuff. I guess it just moved me.
Every Sunday.
Yeah, every Sunday.
And
Early.
you weren't telling anybody because you were so quiet in school.
Yeah, no one probably knew. But, I just used to be super into church, and I gave up. I literally gave it up for a whole year. I remember that. That was one of the craziest things I would say I've done in terms of just, like, testing my willpower to really, like, in the 8th grade say I'm not going to listen to what every other kid's listening to, or I'm not going to watch the movies. I remember Friday After Next or Next Friday or something came out that year, and I was like, my brother went to go see it with my dad, and they were just like throwing it in my face, and I was like, I'm not gonna go see it.
Holy cow.
Wow.
Yeah, it was intense.
As an 8th grader.
Yeah, it was intense.
That's a lot of willpower.
It was. Luckily, at that time, there were some really good gospel songs. Like Kirk Franklin was going crazy.
Yeah.
So he kept me going.
We were
Donnie
just
McClurkin.
listening to Stomp down in Utah.
I just played it
God's
the other
country.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, my assistant heard it. She knows.
So
We were going crazy.
so what happened as you went into high school then? What changed?
I don't know. I guess as you get older, you just become more rebellious to certain things. I don't know if anything specifically changed. I know we started going to a different church, and as you get older, you start to just see things and recognize things. When the smoke clears and you start to notice, like, this church was so good. Why did we leave? Like, what was going on behind closed doors? What do the adults know that I don't know? Like, what is going on? So, as stuff like that happened, I think I just became more aware and, more conscious of what I truly believe versus, like, what's been kind of pushed onto me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of just made my own decisions as I met other people. And specifically college definitely changed my complete perspective on religion.
So as you were getting ready to graduate high school, where were your college options at that point?
I was big on, originally I wanted to go to a big, what do they call it, a PWI?
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean anyway?
Um,
Predominantly white institution?
yeah, predominantly white institution.
Oh, that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I was originally wanted to go to a PWI. I wanted to go to the University of Maryland or the University of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Miami, just because I just heard about Miami and it's so hot and the weather and the beach,
Libraries,
all the churches,
studying,
right? Yeah.
None of that. Ray Lewis was my favorite football player, so I was like, he went there. So many cool guys went to the University of Miami. I wanted to go there, and that was the first time I think that I realized, like, affirmative action actually is real. And I didn't use it because I was so silly. Like, it was like I was trying to avoid being discriminated because I was black, that I didn't put on my application that I was black. So even with a 3.5 GPA, good SAT scores, I got declined from University of Miami. And I was like, this is mad weird. Like y'all can't be accepting this many, people. And it was weird because I was getting scholarships at certain other schools, and I was like, and then I realized, well, you didn't tell them you were black. And
Yeah, I guess Cameron Kirk could be anything.
Yeah. I was actually named after the guy on Ferris Bueller, so I was named after a white guy.
What?
Yeah, the nerdy kid on Ferris Bueller.
Oh, no, I'm familiar. That's amazing.
Do you have a Gordie Howe jersey?
No, I
You
should
should,
get one.
yeah.
I guess I should.
Man.
Do you like the movie?
I did like that movie. I did. I thought it was fun. I wish... Well, I don't want the name Ferris. I really don't like that name, but I wish it was like his name was Cameron. Like,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. Although Cameron was the dark and mysterious one.
This is true.
Wow. Very apropos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My life comes full circle, and I'm a photographer.
Yeah.
My name is Cam.
So, wow. So you ended up not going to U of M.
Yeah, I went to visit University of Maryland, and the campus was just so outrageously big that I couldn't even imagine myself being at this school.
College
I was
Park?
already
Yeah.
quiet, and I was like, I'm gonna get like swamped at this university.
And you'd be rooting for a turtle.
Yeah. It's a lot.
And they weren't that good.
Yeah.
After Steve Francis left, it
Yeah.
kind of changed.
Local hero, Steve
Yeah,
Francis.
yeah. So after that, I was just kind of like, and I had heard about Atlanta I think, I want to say the movie Drumline had just came out around that time, and that was actually
Or ATL.
Yeah, certain things like that was like, okay, Atlanta's kind of hot. Atlanta, all the rappers were popping up down there. And a friend of mine was a year older than me. He worked at the same job as me. And when he came back for Christmas break, he was like, man, you should look into Morehouse. Like, it's a good school. I think you would like it.
By the way, spoiler alert, Morehouse, not a PWI.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah.
HBCU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My parents did not like that one.
Well,
Really?
Why?
Because you just in Maryland there is no concept, in my opinion, of like entertainment industry. Everything is just very like corporate job or work for the government. So there isn't a lot of like flexibility and freedom to just be this cool kid that just makes a way for yourself. It's like most people I know back home have a job, a regular 9 to 5. So, and my parents kind of did that as well. So I think in their best interest, you know, it's kind of a thing within black families where they want to prepare you for the real world, as they say, which is, you know, having to deal with people of all races. And some people look at HBCUs in a negative light because they feel like it tricks your mind to think that the world is going to be this easy and you're going to just be with people of your same race and you're not going to deal with discrimination. And some parents will actually encourage you to go to a PWI, and if you can thrive there amongst other races, then maybe you'll actually be more trained. Yeah, I don't believe that, but that's what my parents thought. So it was a struggle to get them to go.
Both
to
sets of
Morehouse.
parents.
Yeah, all 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or
So-
one of my parents, my stepdad, wanted me to go to Morehouse. He understood.
But he also hated the way that you opened up potato chips. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got into Morehouse.
Mhm.
You made your way down there.
Yep.
And what is going to Morehouse like?
Morehouse was like going to a big fraternity. Like, everything is very traditional. There are a lot of rules. There are a lot of, at the time, they seemed like unnecessary rules. You know, Morehouse is big on, again, have to deal with the no hats and building rules, and you can't miss class. You know, it wasn't the freedom that I thought college was. It felt a little like high school again. At the
I didn't
beginning.
realize it was that conservative down there. Like,
Yeah.
that it's like, you know.
Oh, super. Morehouse is a very traditional school. Very big on that. It's 1 day a week you have to wear a suit and tie.
Whoa.
Shirt and
Like a
tie.
lawyer.
Yeah. You have to learn how to tie your ties. See, I always say Morehouse trains you to be a man, and it deals with more of like your maturity as an adult than it does educational. I feel like you can get education from anywhere, but you want to go somewhere where I feel like the instructors want to really grow you as a man, and I feel like that's what Morehouse specialty is. That's what it is. So every week we had guest speakers that would come in, and they call it a crown forum, and the whole student body would sit in. And
How big is the student body?
About 3,500 people.
Okay.
4,000 people. And now at these crown forums is where they would bring back people like, well, Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
But like a John Lewis or
Yeah, people like that would come in, and Magic Johnson would come to school and talk, and Spike Lee and stuff like that. So
That's
it
dope.
was very like motivational at a time, and it really focused on just like, the maturity of black men, and it prepared us to just have pride in ourselves and what we stand for, and then to actually understand that it's deeper than us. It's about a community. So what I got from Morehouse was more about that, just like brotherhood and community, and it brought me out of my shell immediately. Like,
Yeah.
I felt a part of something.
And, well, I guess I have 2 questions, which is, one, did your parents come around on it?
I think now, they're like, okay, like, I'm happy you moved to Atlanta and figured it out.
Right.
It was a struggle, though. I mean, to be honest, I convinced my parents originally Morehouse was a school for me based off the premise that I was going to be a doctor, because Morehouse graduates the most black men into medical school every year.
So you were ready for not just 4 years of undergrad, but also med school.
I was so just stuck on trying to say something that made my parents like proud when they talked to kids about what's he going to school for, to be a doctor. I did no research on what it took to be a doctor.
Oh.
I had no idea about medical school.
Where'd your brother go to
I was
school?
almost ignorant to it. My brother went to Towson University in Baltimore.
Yeah, local.
Yeah,
Yeah.
local.
So when I got to school and I was a bio major, pre-med, and I got in a biology class. And I remember just seeing how hard everybody was studying. And I was like, man, I'm trying to go party. Like, what are y'all doing? And of course, I fell behind in biology class. And once you fall behind, it's over. You can't catch back up. And then I remember we would all get together sometimes and study. And a friend of mine that was in the dorm room with me was telling me, like, his brother's on the way to be a doctor. And I remember he was bragging about his brother. And he was like, yeah, my brother is about to turn 29. He's about to finally be a doctor. And I was like, wait, what? 29? Like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? And he was like, yeah, you got to do this, and you got to go to resident. You got to. I was like, wait, so you mean that I'm going to be broke until I'm 29, 30?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to have to serve, like, you know, like, what? Like, immediately went to the dean's office and changed my major.
To?
Marketing.
All right.
Greatest decision I ever made.
What'd you know about marketing at that point?
Okay. The only thing I knew was
It wasn't a doctor.
Yeah.
wasn't a doctor, and I knew that every company in the world has a marketing department.
Well,
That was the one thing I just thought about. Like, no matter what I decide to do, every company has this department, no matter what. And then I was thinking, okay, my love for sports and street fashion, like working at the store I was at, maybe I can transition this to a job with Adidas or Nike or something. And that was really what I thought. But I had no prior research on it. I just kind of picked a major.
what was your involvement with the other HBCUs down there?
Well, Morehouse is a little trick for the kids that are thinking about going to school and they're scared because Morehouse is an all-boys school.
Spelman's right around the corner.
Yeah.
Spelman is, when you say right around the corner, that's an understatement. It's connected to the campus. And so is Clark Atlanta, which is 75% girls. So you're literally surrounded by two all-girl schools.
Yep. Shouts
And
to
it's
Scotty Beam.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scotty Beam. Yeah, she was down there. I met her down there. It's a homie for real.
Did you know Jersey Jinx as well?
Nah, I think we missed each other, or maybe, but we're connected now. He keeps me actually in a loop with what's going on at Morehouse. He'll send me articles about stuff, and like, man, did you see what's going on? So yeah, we have a little connection there as well. But I tell everybody, the first thing I learned on campus, I learned the rules of the campus, but then the upperclassmen were sure to mention that there's a 20-to-1 girl to guy ratio on this campus. So do your thing. It's like, don't worry about what you're hearing. Let them talk. Let them laugh at us. We're going to all boys school. Keep that between us. And it's a 20-to-1. We here living. So that was always where I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah.
And then it's good to be able to go to class and it's only guys. So you can roll out of bed looking like anything. You know, you do whatever, and then you know what I mean? You can see
Keep your
a girl.
fashion for when you go out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you stay focused. It also keeps you very, like, focused.
Do you feel like you got everything out of your marketing degree?
Yes. I feel like a lot of things in my life, I'm a very, like, go with the wind type of person. And I feel like I just been following wherever God has led me. And I feel like a lot of things from my early personality to me just randomly picking marketing to everything has, like, made me who I am today. So I think a lot of my early things, even in high school, that I didn't know actually made me a really attentive and good marketer because I was just willing to, like be quiet and be observant of the landscape of things and just really be able to see what's really going on and analyze things better in my head. So I became very, like, analytical and very logical with my thought processes. And I think that that's very good for marketing because you're able to know who is what is what, without, like, being so overpowering in a situation that you can't really survey a room and tell how to reach certain people. So all in all, Morehouse, I don't think it's so much about what you learn in the books per se, but it's just like the environment, that time to grow, that time to develop yourself, I think was good. And then just being in Atlanta where it's the land of entrepreneurs, it's the land of just, like, black people just making a way for themselves and doing any type of thing. It opens up your mind to opportunities. Like, I never imagined I could be even in New York with you guys off of photography.
Yeah.
And not even just photography, off of shooting hip-hop artists. Like, I don't shoot nothing else.
So were you thinking local at that point? Like, was it all Atlanta stuff, or were you very much into the internet and your social media?
I got on social media around. I mean, I was always on Facebook and stuff like that. I think when Twitter broke, I think that really like opened my mind up to like, wow, I can connect to the entire world, you know, with the click of a few buttons. And not only the entire world, but I feel like Twitter was the first social media app that made nobody off limits.
Yeah.
Like no matter how famous you were or what,
You can hit
were
'em.
reachable now. And that was the most like brain shock thing that happened. So
Well, because then you could hit people up and tell them that they could listen to your mixtape on SoundCloud.
directly, yeah.
Yeah,
Or anything.
SoundCloud.com/the Cam Kirk for all those hot rhymes.
Exactly.
Is there another Cam Kirk, by the way, out there?
Man, there's somebody that I found recently, and I think they're a photographer, and I think they go by Cameron Kirk or something. But they take like pornographic photos or something. Cause I search my name sometimes, and it's like some really weird like burlesque type photos, and it's like shot by Cam Kirk.
Or
Or is
this
it
you-
Lawrence?
Oh, I was gonna say, is this you like being like, hey, this is out there and it's me, but I'm not gonna take ownership of it. But
Nah.
but please check it out.
I've gotten asked to.
Are they good photos?
Uh,
Artfully done, tastefully done.
Right.
they were tasteful. I would say. I guess.
Cam Kirk endorses.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other Cam.
Well, it was
Kirk.
it was
Keep doing
endorsed
your
by the
thing.
Cam Kirk. Yeah.
Yeah,
Keep doing
the
your
Cam
thing.
Kirk. Yeah.
I'm always confused by the people who claim a name and it's definitely not them. You know, it's like Angie Martinez had to be like Angie Martinez 1 on like Snapchat for like
yeah.
the longest time, and it was just like that would piss me off so much. Actually,
Our friend David Cho.
yeah.
He wanted davidcho@gmail.com. And he emailed the guy being like, hey, like, can I get my name?
I will pay for it.
And
And the guy said no and signed it Dave. And it's like, you won't give up davidcho@gmail.com and at least put just David?
Yeah.
Like, you dickhead.
and there was like a check in there.
Oh, it would have been a really big check.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Just for that Gmail.
Fuck
Anyway,
Dave.
So
yeah.
I hacked that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So you became the Cam Kirk.
I became the Cam Kirk on accident.
Yeah.
To be honest, I wanted obviously like everything Cam Kirk. Just
Yeah.
Straight Cam Kirk. And this is when Twitter was popping. So I think on Twitter I was Cam_Kirk, which kind of sucked. But
Totally.
from afar it looks
No
like
disrespect,
it looks
but-
like Cam space Kirk. So
Yeah.
it looks cool from afar until you actually have to type it. And it looks whack. So I
With
was
the shift and the
I was Cam Kirk there, Cam_Kirk there, and when Instagram came around, I did catch Cam Kirk immediately on Instagram. So I was happy about that, but I didn't know where Instagram was gonna go at the time. It
Sure.
was like brand new. So I
yeah,
was
just
like,
squat on, you know.
Yeah, I'm Cam Kirk on here, and then I had my website was camkirk.com. So I was like, okay, this is pretty good. I got 2 out of 3, and my web developer let my domain expire 1 year.
Damn.
After I had been pumping it and doing all this stuff, and I went to try to reclaim, renew your license on it, and they wanted like something ridiculous at the time. It was like $3,000 for camkirk.com. So I was like, nah. So then I was talking to one of my guys that manages Metro Boomin in the industry, Dan Friedman, and
Yeah, shout out to Dan.
Freeman.
Yeah.
yeah. So he was like kind of giving Metro game, and then I was around, so I was kind of like taking it as well. So he just was like, yo, you want all your social handles to be the same so that people don't get confused when they look for you. So then I was like, all right, that's a really good point. So I'm Cam Kirk here, Cam_ here. I got to find a new domain. So I started with the new domain, and I found the Cam Kirk or the Cam Kirk. I don't know even how to pronounce it myself. However you want to say it.
Well, it's really however you want, right? You own it.
Sometimes I like the Cam Kirk because it feels more like a business. It's like, welcome to the Cam Kirk. It's like a business. But then when I'm feeling egotistical, I like the Cam Kirk. It's like, that's the Cam Kirk.
Yeah, you say it with your chest.
Yeah.
It feels a little better. So it goes back and forth, however you do it. So I found that domain, thecamkirk.com, and then I was like, and I searched Instagram and Twitter, and it was available. So I just kind of changed everything and went with that.
It's like the Ohio State University.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you consider yourself a marketing guy at that point?
Yeah, as soon as I graduated, or even when I was in school, I started to develop like marketing things. So
Well, you started to do parties, right?
yeah, first thing I did in college was, because I was just so sold that I was going to possibly just go into the fashion industry, because I was working at the retail store, and I was like, I want to position myself to move up in the ranks eventually. So I started an organization on campus that was derived to encourage other students that wanted to have fashion aspirations to kind of come together, and we can show the rest of the world that at Morehouse there are like people interested in the fashion industry, because Morehouse is very like corporate driven. It's very like business suits, ties. You go finance, corporate America, doctors, or it's like lawyers or stuff like that. So it's not, there's very little creative industry breeded out of Morehouse. So a lot of those fashion houses or institutes or companies would never come looking at Morehouse, even though at Morehouse some of the most fashionable people in Atlanta come out of Morehouse. So I wanted to start something that would give us an opportunity or put a little spotlight on a few people that wanted to do that. So I started an organization called The Industry. And it was the first organization started at Morehouse, like with that purpose of like moving us into a fashion or a fashion driven focus. And
Did you have any connections?
none,
It was just
other than my store,
yeah.
like this little store I had, and I knew a lot of the cool fashion kids on campus. So I told them about the idea originally, and they kind of supported it. So outside of that, I had no connections. It was just all like emails and just
Cold emails?
yeah, cold emails, reaching out to larger companies and trying to get people to come back and talk and do panels. And it was a lot of stuff that me just trying my hat at.
How'd it go?
It went okay, I guess. I kind of jumped from that. Like I said, I go with the wind. So it was when Twitter first came around, and I was like heavy into Wiz Khalifa. Like Wiz Khalifa was the shit to me. So I remember when Twitter came around, he had a little email in his bio. And I was just so stuck on trying to do something for my organization that would be lit or be dope. And like Wiz was so kind of underground, but so cool. Like if he came to campus, it would be crazy. And I remember Wiz coming up was big on like kind of street fashion. Like he was a 501 Don, the Levi's. And he was repping a lot of Pittsburgh brands that were like on the come up too. So I was like, man, maybe it would be cool if I got Wiz to come to campus to do like a pop-up shop for his merch and all this centered around our fashion organization. And I remember I reached out to the email in his bio just randomly.
The Wiz Khalifa at Gmail?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. And I remember getting hit back, and they were like, yeah, we're actually on a 50-city tour. We have 49 cities booked, and the only city that we have nothing from was Atlanta.
Whoa. What?
And then they were like,
How?
God.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I was like, what in the world? And then it was a deal or no deal tour, so right before Cushion Orange Juice.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. It was like, they totally disregarded my whole email about just come to campus and do some. They were like, bro, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
The show cost this. At the time, it was $4,500 all in, and you get the tour.
Again, that is crazy.
Crazy. So I'm like, wait, this is crazy. Like, are you telling me that if I give you $4,500, I can throw a concert with Wiz Khalifa and actually make money back? It was crazy. So
And they said yes.
yeah, they were like, what do you want to do? So I immediately, I talked to my dad. I was like, Dad, because my parents were paying my tuition. So I was like, Dad, give me $4,500. I'm going to take out a $4,500 loan from the my college, the Stafford loan, which is $4,500. You give me the money, and then I'm going to try to do something with it. And then my roommate was with it at the time as well. He put up some money as well just to try to make something back. And I booked Wiz Khalifa.
So all of a sudden you're a concert promoter.
Randomly, just going with the wind, just like wherever it was going. Didn't know what I was doing, didn't know how I was getting into this, but I was just like, yo, this is an opportunity I can't pass up on.
Your parents are like, what happened to biology?
Yeah, they were so confused, like, are you serious? But it was like, it's not our money. Like, you know, in a way, you took out the loan, so it's your risk.
Did you have a venue?
I went and found a venue. There was a concert that happened in Atlanta around the time I was figuring all this stuff out with J. Cole. So I just used this venue that they had J. Cole at. I was like, okay, let me try that venue. And the good thing about concerts, which is why I can see why a lot of people do it, is like, in order to start selling tickets and that really start making money, you only have to put up half of the budget. So you pay half of the venue fee and half of the artist budget. So I paid Wiz $2,250, and then I paid $750 for the venue. So I got a $4,500 loan. So I'm sitting on an extra little cash here, and I'm immediately ready to start selling tickets and make my money back and pay the back end with yourselves. So it was convenient where I found a venue that worked with me, and they were a venue that was very hands-on with their shows. It's the Loft. I did at Center Stage, the Loft. So they throw all the concerts there. So basically all you got to do is just pay them the money, and they almost put the show together for you, almost for the most part. Like, you pay them, they start selling the tickets online for you. They give you a stage manager. They work hands-on with the bar. Like, everything was like very easy.
They have an engineer. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the hardest part for you in that moment, putting together a show?
The hardest part was dealing with the fact that I was a nobody in that world. So
You're not
I
just
was
any
like,
Cam Kirk. You were the Cam Kirk, though.
At that time,
Yeah.
I wasn't.
Well, no,
Cam
at that
Kirk.
point you were the Cam Kirk.
Yeah, I was Cameron Kirkland. I never even went by Cam Kirk at this time. Like, no one knew me as that. So the hardest part was I was, without knowing, stepping into territory of people that already own the concert scene in Atlanta. So I was ruffling a lot of feathers, like, who was this kid and how did he get Wiz Khalifa? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because Wiz literally blew up from the time I was negotiating the terms to getting my contract. I don't know what happened. He blew up.
Yeah.
Like, even the day I signed the contract, Wiz's camp was like, I'm happy we were able to get this done, because I won't lie, 8 people hit me. 8 people hit us up about this exact date trying to steal it from you.
Man.
And people were like, trying to steal it from me, like maliciously, like, this kid has never done a concert. We don't even know who he is. He has no record, no reputation. Why would you do it with him? Like, and
All good questions.
yeah, great. I'm so happy that Wiz's camp was just kind of open-minded to the idea. I was a 21-year-old kid in college with nothing. You couldn't research me. There was no LLC. There's no company. There was literally
You could have swindled
nothing.
the shit out of this whole situation.
I could have, but thankfully they trusted in me. They trusted me.
But you want to know it next time.
Yeah. So you sold it out
Sold out.
quick, or was it up to like the last week?
Nah, it was pretty. It sold itself, to be honest.
What a relief.
I didn't really have to do much. I didn't even know what to do, but I didn't have to do much. It sold itself, because days before the concert, it was April. The concert was April 8th, 2010. So Cushion Orange Juice came out probably April 15th or something. Like, it was like, and I remember at that time he was like leaking it and playing around with it so much that people were like on pins and needles when it was going to drop. There was no official date. So a lot of people were thinking that it's going to drop the day he comes to Atlanta. It's going to drop. So it created a lot of hype with that as well. With people just the hype of Cushion Orange Juice. So it's pretty much sold itself. You know what I mean? It was a concert. It was Wiz Khalifa and Yellow Wolf.
And you made your money back?
Yeah, made my money back, but I didn't make it really any money because I didn't know what I was doing. So the whole thing about concerts is selling out is good, but it's almost not good to sell out from the box office, because that means that, at least in those times, you only were able to sell your ticket price, which is like $20 a ticket.
Right.
Whereas if I would have held 100 tickets, sold the other ones the day of the show, I could have sold them for 50 at the door.
Right.
And then would have made another 5 bands. So it's like stuff like that I just didn't know. I didn't have any sponsors. No one gave me money for anything.
Yeah.
So everything we had to spend out, and then it was like money management. I was so young. I didn't know how to manage the money that was coming in. So you might sell 20 tickets here and don't know what you did with the money. So when it was all said and done, I remember just like thinking like, where's the money? Where's everything at? And my roommate was even looking at me crazy, like bro, like I don't get it. We sold 650 tickets at $20. That's $13,000. And we're sitting here counting pennies. Like, we got a couple thousand to get back to each other. Like, where is the money? And I don't know what happened to it, to be honest. I think it was just like poor management.
Damn.
It was great, though.
But what are your interactions like with Wiz? I know that it basically leads into your your photography career?
So my interactions with Wiz were nothing. I didn't speak to him one time until the concert was over. Like, you know, Will ran a really tight ship over there. Like, it was very like, yo, bro, where's our hotel room? Is it in there? All right, take me to the venue. It was very like straightforward. It was almost intimidating at a time. So I had more of a relationship built with Will than I did with Wiz. And even Will was very guard up towards me. And then I remember at the end of the night, like, as it sold out and it was this great show, I remember him sitting down next to me and just like, yo, bro, you did it. Like, you're so young. You're 21. Like, this is great, man. You really did it. It's good shit. Stuff like that. And then that's when I got to formally introduced to Wiz. Like, oh, this is the guy that threw the show. And how it kind of sparred was like, I was a Wiz Khalifa stan at that time. You know, like, I still love Wiz, but I was like starstruck to be in his presence, to even be able to act like we did something together. I didn't even know what to say. So the only thing I wanted at the end of the night was like a picture with him. And I had been ripping and running so much. My phone was dead. All my friends had left the venue by this time. And I remember that whole event, I never got a picture with Wiz.
Damn.
So it was like, I just did all of this.
Didn't make a cent.
Didn't make a cent. And then
there's no proof.
And I know marketing, and I had no proof to keep this going. So it was kind of like, from that point on, I literally went out and bought a camera, like probably next day or so. And I was like, because I'm thinking at this point, I'm a party promoter. This is what I do. I throw concerts, bro.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I do. Check my resume. So I'm going to buy a camera, and the next time I book a celebrity, I'm going to be able to get that picture. That's literally all I thought when I bought the camera.
And am I right that your father is a photographer?
Yeah, my dad's a photographer as well. But he shoots very different stuff.
Right, like weddings and
stuff like that. So I never even acknowledged photography as an option.
So what kind of camera did you buy?
I bought a Canon T2i.
Okay.
Canon Rebel T2i, a little starter kit.
Yeah.
Camera.
And how'd it work out?
Amazing. I think I took one of my most iconic photos to this day. It's actually taken on that camera. The picture of Gucci Man in black and white.
Oh yeah.
Was taken on that camera.
So do you think that you discovered something within you that was just dormant, that you had this creative side, that you were born with it, that it was something genetic? Or do you think that it's just like something you had to work on and really like cultivate and make into something?
I think it was born in me, to be honest. And I go back to even just everything. I mean, my dad's a photographer, so I grew up with a photography studio in my basement. Like, it just was stuff that just was so common to me. Like, I would go downstairs, it's all his photography equipment.
Red light.
Whether I used it or not. You know what I mean? Like, to earn allowance, I would have to help my dad at weddings and shoot weddings with him.
Wow.
To earn any type of money. So stuff like that. And then my name is Cam. You know what I mean? So naturally, it's like...
Well, I mean, technically your name is Cameron.
Cameron, yeah, but you know, everybody calls me Cam. So it's like, it goes with it. And then, again, I'm naturally quiet, so I'm very observative, if that's a word. So
Observant,
yeah.
Observant, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I feel
that
like...
was God speaking through
you,
us.
yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I needed that. Because I try to say that sentence a lot, and I stumble on that, observant.
It's all right. In a meeting like directly before this one, Eric said that something about like being authentic, and I was like, yes, that is authentic and autistic, and that's what we are. And so that was a good save. That was God speaking through me.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Styles, you want to hit us off about October 3rd at Highline Ballroom?
Yeah, what up? It's your boy Styles P, a.k.a. The Ghost, a.k.a. Two Jews and the Black Dude Special Jew.
What up? It's your boy Sheedy Looch, a.k.a. Silverback Bobby Backlund, nigga.
It's your boy Jada Kiss, a.k.a. Leroy.
Leroy.
Yo, what up? It's Eric, a.k.a. Petri Dish, a.k.a. For the Culture.
Yo, what up? It's Jeff, a.k.a. Shooter Boy in Blue, a.k.a. Papa Smurf.
Hurry up,
Oh,
nigga.
what's going down? October 3rd's going down. Tell them, fellas.
Yo, listen, October 3rd, we're going to be watching a movie at Highline Ballroom with you guys.
A special intimate viewing of a movie of our choice.
Yeah.
But we're going to do a Q&A and watch it with the fans. Something, you know what I mean? I know y'all listen to the audio and y'all want to be there, so here's y'all chance.
Yo, listen, seeing it in person, being in the room with us is so unbelievable. Laugh out loud funny. There were so many times during this episode where Jada and Styles couldn't even handle what Sheik was putting out there. But man, you guys got to be there live.
October 3rd, y'all.
Highline Ballroom.
Don't miss it.
ItsTheReal.com.
When I look at all of those things, like me being an observant kid, me being kind of quiet, because I think to be a good photographer, you have to know not how to disrupt the moment, but like just kind of be a fly on the wall at times and capture something authentic. I think when I look back at all of those things and I put them together, I'm like, well, these are all character traits for a great photographer. And I think that that's now I say, oh, this was God all along leading me through this path by things that I thought were my weaknesses, like me being so quiet and shy and stuff like that, ended up being a strength down the line.
So what would you take pictures of?
When I first started?
When you first got that camera?
When I first got the camera, I didn't take pictures of anything. It collected dust. I booked, after I did that concert with Wiz, I became kind of like this, like everybody wanted to know who was this kid. You know what I mean? So a lot of local artists started hitting me up like, yo, do you do other concerts? Do you do anything else? So I actually started managing an artist randomly, a kid that went to school with me. We started working together and became friends, and then we started working together. Because at this point, like I said, I'm full-blown entertainment industry. Like, this is it. So he saw the way I handled the Wiz show and wanted me to apply some similar business structure to what he had going on. So originally...
You love diving in the deep end.
Yeah, I just go for it. I don't really think about it too much. I just go right in. So at that point, we were broke. We couldn't afford anything. So I used the camera on him. Like, you know, oh, we need a picture right now? Okay, let me try to remember what my dad taught me and push this button. And then from there, we would just try things out. We were together 24/7, so we would just shoot every day if I had to. Like, I always had my camera on me.
Did you take pictures outside of, like, your artist? Were you out there just, like, people watching? And
once we started doing that, other local artists wanted the same thing. Like, oh, I can't afford it either. Like, can you do something for me for $25, $50, something like that? So
natural light and everything?
Yeah. No equipment.
Yeah.
Whatever I got, like, we just got to make it work. You know, no edits, didn't know how to do much of anything. You know what I mean? So I started just working with other local artists and stuff like that. And then it just started to develop. And then from there, I got an opportunity with some other kids at Morehouse who were connected with more of, like, the real music industry. And I started to get like little opportunities like, yo, Future's gonna be here. This is like early Future before he blew up. Like, you wanna shoot his concert or something? And it was like, okay. Like, and I just started like kind of practicing, and I just started getting better and better. And I don't know, I always say that there's nothing that's came easy to me as much as photography. Like, the second I decided this is what I was gonna do, the doors just started flying. Like, it was like the easiest pathway to where I'm at.
Well, what did you notice about your eye? Like, what did you think was special about, like, what you were taking pictures of?
I think the most special part about my eye is I don't see things, and it sounds bad when I say it sometimes because it makes it seem like I'm not creative, but I see things from a much more business marketing perspective than I do a creativity perspective. So when I take a picture of an artist, I automatically see the album cover, the billboard, the poster. Like, I see all these things, and I try my best to get that type of shot that can live for more of a commercial use. So I don't really shoot for just, oh, this would be a cool picture of this. It's like, nah, like, if I'm with Wiz, I need to get Wiz smoking. If I can catch him blowing the smoke out, and if I can catch it and the blunt's not in the picture, it's even more valuable because it's like, I can use this for something else. Or I knew when I was around Gucci, it was like, man, if I can show these sides of Gucci, if I can get this shot of him, iconic. You know what I mean? If I can get this a Future, iconic. So I started to think more with that perspective of already thinking 10 steps ahead with the photo than just going at it without a plan.
So when you're looking for that one perfect shot, does that mean you take one shot and you wait for it, or are you taking like a million and you'll find that one perfect one?
I take a million shots. So people get annoyed by me. I'm rapid fire. I'm like machine gun.
But somewhere in there.
That's how I do it, because I always say I wasn't technically trained. Like, I didn't go to school for photography. I learned over the phone from my dad. You know, send him a picture I took and he'll critique the hell out of it and tell me I'm trash. And I learned from that. Like,
what were his critiques?
That he wouldn't put the chips on a plate.
No, that's the stepfather.
Yeah. My real dad, my dad was just like, I'm not a real photographer. He just never considered me a real photographer. Up until like up until like last year, I think I still would have this debate with him, like, Dad, I'm a real photographer. Like,
Wait, why didn't he consider you? Just because you weren't trained? So
'Cause
like
I
you don't have a
wasn't trained.
classical. Yeah.
So he thinks because I didn't take the time to go to school for it, and he assumed. And then also you keep in mind that I left home at 18, and my parents live thousands of miles away. So at times I always say, like, y'all still think of me as this 18-year-old kid, and it's hard for y'all to see the development when I see you guys 4 times a year, 5 times a year.
Right.
So you're still thinking that I'm just this naive kid that doesn't know nothing. I'm just getting by, versus thinking like, okay, Dad, maybe I didn't go to school, but what if I did get on YouTube and really study for hours? Like, what if I shot 1,000 shots and figured it out? Like, there's other ways to learn. So I think for him, he just always goes back to like, I'm not technical. Like, he goes to the Photoshop conventions and all this stuff, and he's like, knows everything by the book, and I'm just kind of like, I figured it out on the fly. So for him, it's like he has that little stigma against. I guess it's like a little competition. I think there's a little competitiveness between me and him.
When you were asked to go take pictures of live shows like Future Show, would you be in the pit?
Yeah,
You're a tall guy.
yeah, I'll be in the pit.
So how do you
And-
operate there?
Well, Atlanta was so backwards at that time, because I always felt like this is like around the blog era where like Two Dope Boys ruled the world, and Ill Roots and all this stuff was just the hottest thing in the world.
Yep.
So everything was about like viral content or content that could get posted on blogs. So Atlanta was very, very late to the internet world and content, period. So I remember at those times, I would be the only person in the pit, literally. There would be no other photographer in the room.
See, that's so foreign to me.
I know.
Yeah, I know, because when I came to New York, around
Everybody's
that
a
time,
photographer.
It was like 10 photographers, and I felt so intimidated. They all had lights and mics and camera. It was so intimidating. But I always say I take what I learned coming to New York, being from back home, and not to say that Atlanta is late, because I like to say that we're pushing the culture and we're on our own time. But there are certain things that you can kind of pick up here, and if you just bring that to Atlanta, like, you would be like a
king.
Yeah,
king.
but it's the same thing with LA.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people in LA, they work lazier, right? When you say like New
Sure.
Yorkers will go and kill it in LA,
Right. I agree with that.
and
Yeah.
Joseph agrees with it too.
Yeah. So that's like the hustle I did bring to Atlanta. Just that stuff, like from being back home, from used to just seeing people work and things you got to get done. So I originally started killing the scene in Atlanta, because I remember being in New York, it would be 10 photographers there, and by the time I wake up the next morning from the event, it was on all the blogs and all the websites. I was like, how did they do it that fast? They must have went right home and edited.
So at that point in your life, are you a photographer with a marketer's mind, or are you a marketer with a photographer's eye?
Yeah, I was at that time I was a marketer, because I was trying to market myself. So more than I really cared about like really developing a long-lasting career in photography or videography at that time, I was just like, I want my name to get out there, and hopefully I can get on the roster of one of these labels or something. Like, I was open to anything at that time. So it wasn't so much like building my portfolio or my deck. I didn't care about that. It was just like, I want people to associate Cam Kirk with hip hop and the trap scene out here, and then wherever that might lead me, I'm gonna figure it out from there. Like, I always had this concept of like, if you're famous, you can always find a way to make money. You know what I mean? And I don't know how true it is now, because like everybody's famous,
Right.
and a lot of broke people still, but you can
Yeah,
find
with
a dollar
booking
from
in bio,
somebody.
and yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like if you got a fame, like somebody will give you $5, $10 for something. That, you know what I
Somebody
mean?
will buy some like what is it, like weight loss tea?
Somebody
will buy
flat
some
tummy tea.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They'll buy something from you, and that was kind of my logic at first. Was like, just get the name out there. Cam Kirk is easy to know, easy to say. Just push that out there. So what I was doing was I would go to these concerts, I would shoot the concert, and I had a little regiment. I said, whatever song gets the crowd the most hype, chop up a video of just that segment. Don't, because it's too much work to try to edit an hour-long show into, like, this is his hit song, record that hit song in its entirety, and go straight home, put your tag on it, and send it to all the blogs. And when I was managing the artists, I did like little strategic research on how to find emails from people, and I was really good at just like figuring it out. Like if I wanted to get on Complex, or if the Source was even big back there, I knew like while the rest of the world is tweeting at the Source all damn day, I was looking for the staff writer, and who's the staff writer, who actually wrote the article, and I would go and find his page, and his page always had like 300 followers because he's an intern or something. I would find his page and I would befriend him. Yo.
Well, the crazy thing about the Source is that everybody who was an intern was an editor-in-chief by the next week.
Exactly. So I found my way in with the Source and stuff like that. So originally I was pitching my artist's content, and of course that's flying over people's heads. They're like, who is this? And then the second I took that same database of people and
applied it to yourself.
Here's a celebrity performs in Atlanta, his hit song. It was like getting ate up. Yeah. Like immediately, Complex.
They want that
to
content.
Roots to whatever. It was getting ate up. And I remember at that point, my name just started popping up on all of these sites. And then very soon, people started to just be like, yo, if you want to know what's going on in Atlanta, you kind of got to follow Cam Kirk because he's the one posting all of the concerts or whatever. He's like documenting all this stuff.
This might not have been your first big thing, but it is one of my favorite things, which is that you were there for Gucci boxing.
Oh, yeah.
How did that come together? How did you get in that room? And tell me how hard he was hitting.
Well, so after I was doing all that concert stuff, I got plugged with Future directly. So I was in like a bidding war. One of his managers wanted me to be his photographer and videographer, and the other manager wanted another one of my friends to be his videographer. So we were kind of like battling.
Damn.
It was when free bands was first popping. So the manager that held the most weight though wanted the other guy. So what they ended up doing was assigning me to Young Scooter, who was coming up at the time.
Yep.
So I was cool with it, whatever. I just wanted to work for somebody, and get some consistent money off of this. So
I'm sorry, wait, where are you living in Atlanta at this time?
I'm living, I just got out of college, so it's like 2012. I was living in Buckhead.
And so Scooter's on the east side.
Scooter's all over. Atlanta's small. But yeah, he's from East Atlanta like everybody else.
I feel like Atlanta's huge. We've
I
taken
feel
some
like it's so long.
very expensive, like,
Well, Ubers are very cheap down there, but like it's
time, Jeff, is money.
Yeah.
Took some long rides.
Nah, Atlanta's pretty. You can get through Atlanta in 15 minutes.
We need to ride with you. I don't know. Yeah.
25 minutes.
Where the hell were we?
Places.
I don't think we were in Atlanta at all. I think
Tennessee.
we were in like Alabama.
Yeah, maybe you guys were in Dunwoody or something. Or Gwinnett. But yeah, so I got with Scooter, and Scooter at that time was transitioning from being just free bands to also being with Gucci Mane. So through Scooter is actually how I met Gucci, how I have all of these classic photos of Gucci. I never got hired by Gucci. Gucci didn't halfway know who the fuck I was. Like, he knew Scooter, and I got a G pass because I was his artist, his photographer, and he would let me rock pretty much. So the Gucci boxing thing, which went kind of viral, and I have actually a ton of more clips like that maybe we'll see the light of day soon. But we would always leave for shows, Scooter shows, leaving out of the Brick Factory Studios, which is Gucci's famous studio where he made famous for all the craziness that went down. So we would always meet up at the studio and leave and come back and get dropped off at the studio. So everybody would park their car at the studio and you'll get it back. That video was actually 7 a.m. We were coming back from a show. Scooter never stays overnight at shows. He hates that shit. So no matter if we're in Baltimore, Boston, wherever.
Hit the road.
Drive back. We're driving right back.
Why? Just doesn't want to be.
Just loves being at home. He just loves being at home.
Not mad at that, yeah.
Yeah, we never stayed in no hotels. Very rarely. Like if we ever, that was rare. So we would always come back, and we always get back at crazy times of the day because like the show might be 5 hours away and we're on the road for hours. So we got back to the studio at 7 a.m. and Gucci's there with his jeans on, his shirt off, getting some gloves tied around his wrist. And we're just like, yo, what is going on here? And it was crazy because it was around the time where I think the game had put a challenge out, like I'll beat up anybody and rap.
Okay.
Is this in one of those like hashtags on his Instagram?
Something, I don't know. It was a while ago. It was before Instagram was popping. I remember it was like all this celebrity boxing talk back then, and the game had said something like, "I'll beat up any rapper." I forgot who he was really challenging. And I think
But Gucci accepted whatever challenge it
he
was.
accepted it. And it was so hilarious because it was like he was taking it serious. Like he literally was training to fight the game.
In
Like,
jeans.
In jeans.
Yo, stomach leading the way.
Yeah.
Stomach leading the way, jeans, and he was going hard.
Yeah.
Like, he was not playing. Like, it was intense. So we walk in on his training, and I just was like, yo, I have to film this. This is too hilarious. It's too funny. No one will believe this. I actually missed a very critical piece in me just not, like, me being so in awe at first. I didn't originally back my camera out, but like he like sparred one of our homeboys that was like on the road with us, like, and it was so hilarious because I remember like that was like the first time I saw like Gucci, man, that people think about. Like the Gucci I know is the same Gucci that's here today.
No, so he's not cloned.
Nah, he's the same guy, man. He's cool. He's super cool, super loyal, super nice. Like,
Works out a lot more now.
yeah, he's definitely in
No,
shape
he was
more.
putting in work that day.
He
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
He kept the same regiment. But so this was the first time I saw like even an aggressive side of him. Like he was super nice to me, like being around. But they were sparring, and the guy, they were playing around a little bit, and the guy punched Gucci in the face.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
And I remember like he like lost all technique, like everything he was practicing, he just lost it. I remember his arms just dropped, and he just like looked at this man crazy. And the dude got so scared that he just like immediately just started balling up.
Oh.
And Gucci wore him out, like to the point where like the trainer had to be like, "Yo, like stop!" And it was like a robot or something because he like snapped out of it, and then it was just like, all right. And it was like, okay. And then that's when I started turning the camera on, and everything else is what happened after that.
Oh
But
my God.
it was hilarious.
Did you know what you wanted to do with that footage at the time?
No, I didn't know what I wanted to do with any of that Gucci footage, or Gucci photos.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, like, at that time, like I said, I didn't have the relationship I have with Gucci that I have now. I was granted access because of someone else, third party access.
Yeah.
So, I was always kind of like, he's the first icon I was around. Like, so I was in a way, like, just intimidated even in his presence, like at times, to where it was like, I didn't want to put none of these photos out because he didn't even know I was taking them.
Yeah.
Like, I was sneaking half of these photos, more than half. 90% of the photos I took of him pre-prison, he had no idea I was taking a photo of him. Like, I would literally sneak it. So the content I shot, all that stuff, I would just leave on my hard drive. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And when he was in prison, when he got locked up, I just was kind of like, this is the perfect way to kind of start releasing some of these footage, because it's like no one
No consequences.
no consequences to a degree. And then also it's just like, no one else has unseen photos of Gucci.
Yeah.
This is prime. Like, so I started just dropping one by one on the Instagram. And then I remember I got a call from him and he was like, "Oh my God, bro, I didn't even know you was taking these photos." And he was like, "Man, like, I need you to help keep my name relevant while I'm locked up. So send more photos to my assistant, and we're going to post them on Instagram." And, then he started using them as album covers, all crazy. So then I was kind of like, all right, I don't know if I want all of these to just be album covers. Like, so I kind of held a few, but then I gave him a lot.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was dope though. That really strengthened like the bond that me and him have, to be honest, because there really wasn't much there. I was kind of the guy in passing. Yeah, he would say, "What's up, Cam?" XY, but we never really had a conversation.
How do you think word spread about you? Like, did you get a credit on those covers?
Word spread with me was just because of my marketing eye. So I applied a lot of marketing into my name and into the way I put things out. So one of the big, I would say, pushes for my brand and my career was when I started working very closely with Metro Boomin.
Mm-hmm.
So after Young Scooter had got locked up around the same time Gucci got locked up. So my job was kind of like over. Like I didn't have a job.
Right.
So I had to try to find another way. And that's when I went back to Morehouse campus just to kind of visit some other friends. And they introduced me to Metro Boomin, who was a freshman there. And we had a connection because I was with Scooter, who's Free Bands, and then he had just signed to Free Bands. So then he was just like, yo, come around, like take some pictures of me. You know, he still was in college, so he didn't have it like that. He was like, I'll try to throw you something if you can come around. Let's just try to build. And from there, working with an artist like Metro, who's very internet savvy, very internet. Like his brand and business was on point back then in terms
As
of
a
just,
freshman.
Yeah, just in terms of knowing how to use Instagram and being connected with this artist who's out of town. And like he really had a connection with a lot of artists. And that's when me and him just linked up like every day. Like we were together every single day.
Did you have a conscious decision to photograph him all off campus and portray him as somebody who's not necessarily just a college student?
Of course. I mean, we didn't ever mention that or show any of that. I mean, he only was there for a semester, so it didn't last long. But we didn't show none of that a part of his brand. It was just like he was working so crazy, and he still was like the hardest working person I've ever met.
Mm-hmm.
But he was just, I mean, it was studio session after studio session after studio session with him, even when he was in college. So we'll be pulling up on 2-3 different artists in the same night. Like, you know, so through Metro, he expanded my reach within Atlanta because working, I always say for photographers that are aspiring to do what I do or to get in here, don't sleep on working for a producer because every artist in the world needs a producer. So they get in the doors that they can open up a lot of doors because working for that producer, you might never know. You would Gucci one day, Future the next day, Migos next day, and all that goes into your portfolio. So I learned that early with Metro because at the time he would have me around Thug, Migos, Rich Homie Quan, Gucci again. Right before Gucci got locked up, we did some stuff again, but I was coming at it from a Metro side this time. And then it was just like so many people I was meeting and spreading, you know, my photography around with all these people. And it really kind of just blew my name up to be like the Eye of Atlanta because I was shooting all of Atlanta, but really because I was with Metro Boomin, who was producing for all of Atlanta. And like we had this like mutual partnership where he would do the record, I would shoot the music video. He'd do the record, I shoot the music video. And like we worked together to try to make sure his brand, make sure that he took control of his records. That's why Metro is who he is, because he doesn't wait for the artist to say this is a single. He uses his platform to make that song hot on his own. A lot of producers just like, oh, I did a song for them. I don't know when it's going to come out or if it's going to be a single. It's like, we learned early, like, nah, we're going to make it a single. Because if they're not willing to shoot the video and put up a budget, we're going to go do it.
Yeah.
And Cam's going to come with me. Yo, and Metro was hitting some of these artists, Thug and Gucci, like, yo, I'm bringing Cam. And we just want to shoot a video to the song we did. And they were like, I ain't got to pay for it, Cam. I don't care. All right. So we started kind of like building something just off of that. And then obviously exploded for both of us.
Were you in those sessions where Metro was working with like all the other producers at once, like Southside and TM and everyone would just be in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Metro, I mean, I'm not to say he was the first to ever do that. I'm sure that was done back in the days. But for Atlanta, I think that was innovative. Just how sincere he was to the quality of the music, more so than the business or the money. Like, I watched Metro make a complete beat. The beat is damn near done, and would still let someone hop on it, and then that turns into a hit record. You know, I've watched him do this where he doesn't even think like, oh, you know, you about to lose half of the beat off of that. Like, you know, you're gonna lose your money. Like, but he was just in it for the pure collaboration. And I think if anything, that was one of the things that I was inspired most by just working with him, was just like, it ain't about all that. That stuff's going to work itself out. Let's just make the best product, and then let's just do it for the culture and do it for what's right and be authentic with it. And then, like, our relationship together just kind of, like I said, just blew up into, like, something where now we both have long-lasting careers off of those, you know, nights of not making nothing. He was making beats for free. I was shooting videos for free.
Man.
You know, you being in the studio for, like, days at a time, what's the most special moment that you've had in the studio session?
Ooh, it's been a lot of great sessions. I can say, I think one that I would never forget, partially because I documented it and I have to watch, but when Metro and Travis Scott made Skyfall, I think the energy in the room just felt like, wait, y'all just made something crazy. Like, you know, that was like, you always feel like that, to be honest, in the studio. I think that's something that every artist feels like they just made the one. But like that was one where when they recorded that, and I was there from the beginning. I was there from the making of the beat, like Metro playing with sounds, to then finding the beat pattern, to then Travis humming what he thought would be the hook, and then I'm going back and forth on lyrics, to then Travis recorded it, not even inside the booth, like they brought the mic next to the engineering board. So he's like recording this in front of us, like, and you're seeing everything, every emotion, every thought going through his head. He freestyled it. And that process and the making of that record, which then turned into be like, I would say a life-changing record for everyone in the room, me included, to Metro, to Travis. I think that was kind of special because at that moment I felt like stars were born for Travis and for Metro and even myself.
Actually, what's a moment that you were in the studio and you didn't capture and you wish you did?
Oh man, I feel like I'm hard on myself, so I feel like there's a lot of those moments as well. I would say more importantly, sessions with Future. I was around for a lot of Future studio sessions that I just didn't bring my camera out. You know what I mean? Or Future's loves to record in the dark at times, so sometimes it is kind of intimidating to have your camera around him because he's also a very aware person. Like, there's some artists that lock in and they're like in their zone where they won't even know what you're doing, but he's a very like, he'll give you looks and stuff and you can kind of feel like, okay, maybe he doesn't really want this recorded. So I think there were sessions with him that I just slept on, like pushing myself to just bring out my camera, that turned out to be like some amazing records, or records that we rock to this day. Same way I feel about certain sessions with Young Thug coming up. Like, the music he was making was so incredible, and I didn't always document it. To be honest, I used to fight with Metro over like videoing sessions. I thought they were so boring. Like, just being in there, I was like, no.
Oh, he wanted them and you didn't want them.
Yeah, he used to always tell me, and I apologize.
Because I feel like Metro is so like press averse. Like he likes to not be super out there in that way. Yeah. And so that surprises me that he would be like,
if he can control it.
Yeah, I guess think it was more about him controlling it. Like, so the stuff on his YouTube, if you ever look at his YouTube, there are a lot of videos that we did together. And he, like I said, he understood the internet and he knew what his fans wanted to see from a producer. So I never understood the concept of why would they want to see you guys making a beat or making a record in the studio.
Right, picking out 47 different drum sounds. And
because it sounds so boring. Because he's like clicking a computer. Like, it's just like, then the beat changes, then it changes, then it is, then it is. Then usually the artist records in the booth, and the booth is black. And it's like, I didn't get what the appeal was, honestly, until I did the Skyfall video. And I just pushed through it that day, and then that video ended up doing 3 million plus views and some crazy shit. And
no big deal. It's whatever.
I was like, wait, people actually want to see that type of stuff? So there's a lot of times where he would be on me like, yo, film, bro. Like, film everything. And then I was just like, man, it's a lot of work to film everything. Then have to go through on the back end and pick the good moments. But, even like he had a series he was doing that we did on his YouTube called like Good Cook Up. And it would be like him making a beat from scratch. And even then, I was like, yo, Metro, these are so boring. It's like the camera's on a tripod, and it just sits there, literally. And I just monitor it to make sure it's recording. And it'd take like 30 minutes, and he'll make a beat. And then all you hear is randomly the beat will change. And then I would sit with him because he would always tell me, this is the good part. Like, okay, this is part of the beat. When I added that sound, that's what made it go up. So he would help me, like, edit in the good parts, and we'll make this video like 8 minutes, and you can find it on YouTube to this day. And back then, these videos were getting 500,000 plays And I was like, people just want to see you click a button on your computer all day. And I just realized like how audibly people like really consume music. Like they don't even need to watch the BTS. They are hearing they're looking for other things. They're looking for when Travis hummed. Okay, that was how that song. Like they want all of those things. And that was like my first taste of like understanding like how important it is to have these moments, to document these moments and how valuable they are.
So when you're in the studio, how did you figure out what distance to keep yourself from artists who are creating? Because you're silent by nature. Mm-hmm. You are a taller guy, so you're an imposing force. But how do you learn where to be and how distant to be from what they're making?
Well, I think a lot of it was just trial and error with certain artists, and again it goes back to like I always say, my ability to read people, read personalities. So I can always tell from the second I walk in the room like the energy of if it's a new artist, like, okay, he's not going to be a fan of cameras in his face, let me hold back. And then there might be another artist where I can put the whole light in his face and it'll make him get into mode more. Like they like it. They'll seek me out if I have a camera and try to pose. So then,
who's somebody who's like an example of the latter one?
Let me try to think. Somebody that always does that. I'll say the Migos for sure. They're into like having photos taken of them. I'm drawing a blank. Bankroll Fresh. Love.
Rest in peace.
Love cameras. Love when I came through with my camera. He would hit me all the time to do something. Rich Homie Quan was open to that type of stuff. It's a number of like a lot of the more of the younger artists. I would say like Gucci hated it. Future hated it. You know, for the most part, I would say like he wasn't really too big on that. But more of the younger artists.
When did you open up your physical studio space?
So I opened up my studio space a year ago.
Right on.
Yeah, so...
Where is that located?
Downtown Atlanta, across the street from Magic City. Literally.
And when you were thinking of why you wanted to put together a space, what made you find a place to do your work?
Or did you just want to set up shop across from Magic City and it's like, well, whatever?
It was a little bit of both. I feel like majority of my big moves are all driven from a feeling of unease. Even from me buying a camera started because I was upset that I couldn't get a picture. Me doing the Trap God exhibit, I was kind of upset about my position in the industry. I felt like I was too reliant or too dependent on artists, and I wanted to break out and make a name for myself. So I did my first exhibit with the Trap God exhibit. So then I felt when I started putting billboards up in Atlanta of artists, I felt like I wasn't getting the respect on a photo shoot level with artists. I feel like artists just wanted to call me at 2 a.m. to pull up to the studio. And I'm like, that's cool, but I want y'all to call me when y'all just got a haircut and you got a new outfit and you want me to curate a photo shoot. So I started curating billboards where I was hitting up artists and I was like, yo, Yachty, I want to put you on your first billboard. I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to handle everything. I just need you to show up for a proper photo shoot. And then I started finessing that to then now that got me to where I'm at now, where it's like people call me for photo shoots. Like I'm a photo shoot photographer now, instead of just being the day-to-day photographer. So it all starts from that. So I feel like when I wanted to open my studio was just me feeling again like, man, my only source of revenue is if I get hit up by somebody. Like I need to go out and make revenue that just works for me. And that's where kind of the studio came about. And then I was also thinking like, man, I mentor so many kids, so many other photographers. And one of the things that I never had was a safe place that I could just go and learn and create or hang. I feel like Atlanta,
aside from your father's, basement.
Yeah. In Atlanta just doesn't have really cool hangout spots that aren't the strip club. Like everything we do is resolved around strip club, nightclub. Like I wanted to create an environment where these same cool kids can go in and even work, create, hang, go back and forth, talk back and forth. And then I also needed a spot where I wanted to elevate my clientele from just shooting artists outside all day.
Yeah.
Me having my space allowed me to shoot artists like Yo Gotti or Young Dolph or bigger name artists. I just shot T-Pain. It's like stuff like that where they feel comfortable knowing I'm going to a private place and in the studio. No one can come
Controlled
in here.
environment.
It's controlled. You know, because before that, I'm just taking them out in the street. Hey, meet me at this. And it's like, it's kind of hectic.
Yeah.
Right.
So I knew I needed to take another step in my career photography-wise. I know I wanted to create another source of revenue and a legacy play because I feel like my studio will outlive me and will be something that makes me money and my kids money, hopefully, and their kids money.
That's awesome.
As long as it goes on the way it's supposed to go. So I wanted to create that business model, and then I wanted to create a place for the community, like for the Atlanta creative community. I feel like it's not enough respect being shown on areas outside of producing and rapping. It's like, no, there are some really talented creatives coming up out here, and more people need to know about it. And I wanted to create a platform for them to kind of springboard off of whatever foundation I have, work out of the studio, and use that to kind of propel what they had going on.
What is, I feel like I know the answer to this, but what is the widest hat that you've seen somebody wear that you've shot? Or maybe like haven't shot. I feel like I know the answer, but I do want to ask who had the widest hat.
The widest hat?
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be Future.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be. I mean, there was one day I shot Travis Scott, and he had stole a cowboy hat out the crowd once. That was really dope. That hat was pretty sick.
I didn't know if like Yachty was wearing like a sombrero or something, and that's like that'd be like bigger than.
Yeah, I haven't done too much costume shots of like Yachty or anything, so it'll probably be that. I shot for Pharrell wasn't wearing a hat when I took that picture, but yeah, probably.
What a stunt, by the way! I shot for.
So, have your parents been to the studio?
Yes, both of my parents have made it to Atlanta. Saw the studio.
And did you shoot them?
No. I am very weird with photography, I would admit. So I'm going to just answer this for everybody that even DMs me and asks me to take their pictures. I have a very, very tight niche of what I like to shoot before it feels like work to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm into what I'm into. I like shooting people that I'm into, I'm inspired by, or I like what they have going on. I don't just shoot anybody. Not to say my parents or anybody, but that would feel like work to me. I wouldn't.
If your father was wearing a wide brim hat,
does my father have a platinum record or something?
you tell me.
He's gonna need to. He gotta step his fame up. Nah, but I just have to be like, I don't know. Now I would love, and at times I even say to myself, I'm actually, I don't want to say jealous is the right word, but sometimes I look at other photographers who are able to make works of art with, I don't want to say regular people because that makes it sound like I'm down, like talking down, but like where they can just pull a model or shoot a subject on the street and create a captivating photo off that. I'm often kind of like, I used to be kind of jealous of that. Like, man, when I want to create, I got to wait for scheduling and the artist. And I love how people can shoot just people and make it that powerful. And a part of me feels like my brand is built around not only how I took the photo and the way I took the photo, but it's realistically built around who's in the photo. That's what makes it a Cam Kirk photo, I think. So I've always learned just like less is best, quality over quantity. So I never wanted to have a brand where everybody and their mother can say, I shot with Cam Kirk. Like, no, you haven't. Like, I wanted it to be very selective over that. So I'm very particular about who I will have step in front of my camera. It has to make sense, not even financially, because I don't care about that. It's more so just like, am I inspired by you? Are you authentic? And then I like to weed out people just by how authentic they are. So before I work with most artists, I usually, now that I have a little bit of leverage, I require like a sit down.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk. Let me hear some of your music. Come play me your music. Come to the studio, play me your shit. And let me see if this is for real. This is a good fit for me.
Do you look at other photographers who are coming up around the same, level as you, like Gunner or like Places and Faces or Renella or, Raven? I don't want to forget any of our friends who might be listening.
Right.
But like, do you look at other photographers and you're like, well, that inspires me, or like, yeah.
I'm fans of every person you just named. To be quite honest, some of them I'm privileged enough to be friends with, and have been friends with for some time. But I would say I'm inspired by a little piece of everything that they've done. Raven, shooting Beyonce, that's like, come on.
I mean, also Jay-Z.
But it's like, yeah, I love Hope too. But it's like, to get access to Beyonce, like every day she posts a picture from that tour, I'm like, every picture blows me away. Like, how did they let you do that? Like, how did they feel that comfortable to do that?
They had a sit-down conversation before.
I'm amazed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Right, they pitch themselves to Raven.
Yeah.
I'm amazed, honestly, at just that, because I'm a fan in photography that has an impact. And 20 years down the line, we're going to look at those photos she's taken of Beyonce and Jay-Z, and they're going to mean something. You know what I mean? They're going to hold value, because she's not even just taking portrait shots. They're like candids of them in ways you've never seen them before. So I hats off to her. She's doing amazing things. Renell is amazing with her eye in the fashion world, and the way she's doing for, they're both doing it for colored females, but what Renell's doing specifically for, I think she's black. What she's doing for black females and how inspiring her career is.
Yeah.
I'm super inspired by her and the work that she's doing, the editorial side of things.
Amazing.
I think it's amazing. I love to see her campaigns and the stuff that she shot and
Teen Vogue and all that.
Like, I'm blown away by the work that she's done, and to go back to Gunner doing this in the same hometown, like seeing his transition. Like, Gunner used to own the camera before I did, so to see like the growth and the development, and in the way he's been able to just own it. Like, I think it's safe to say he's probably one of the most famous photographers of our time. He's killing shit. Yeah. And he's ever inspiring, because he's like a friend.
Yeah.
So Are you ever...
Shout out to Greg Noir, too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I told you I would like screw some people up. But
shout out to John Mannion. Shout out to Lenny S. Yeah.
And Sycamore, Yeah. All right.
Everybody.
But are you ever in the same place as Gunner and trying to shoot the same thing? And then what makes your photos different?
He's taller.
That's it. Actually,
we have definitely different styles. Like, when I say Gunner's a friend, I'm not just saying that on industry talk. Like,
oh no, he's your brother. He's
like, we went on vacations together.
Yeah,
like,
really? Where'd you guys go?
Tokyo.
That's
Our
dope.
first trip to Tokyo was together. So we're with each other quite often.
Yeah.
And our careers have taken similar journeys. So he's Metro's day-to-day now, whereas, obviously I was Metro's day-to-day before. So we actually went on the last Metro tour together. So me and him were every night, same room, same vibe. You know what I mean? But I think the beauty in photography is everybody has a different eye. You can be in the same room, take the same picture, and to someone else, they would never know it's the same type of place. And obviously he shoots film. I shoot more digital. So just our styles immediately are going to have a contrast to them. But
does your father like Gunner's work better?
Good question.
I hope not. I don't know. My dad, gotta test his loyalty sometimes. Hopefully he does it. I don't know.
Well, listen, congratulations on a fascinating journey to this point, and going where the wind, as you said, took you, and to literally and figuratively develop your career into this has been pretty amazing to watch and to hear. And you went from eating chips to stacking them, and there's a lot more to come.
Good morning.
Yeah, congratulations.
Look at that. Yeah.
Thanks for coming through.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks everyone for listening to this new episode of Waste Time with It's The Real. Jeff, if people want to find out more about us, I'm Eric, the curly-haired one. You are Jeff, the one with glasses. Together we are It's The Real. Jeff, if you want to find out more about this podcast, it's called A Waste of Time with It's The Real. And we also have another podcast with 2/3 of the Locks, Sheik and Styles, and sometimes all three members of the Locks.
Right.
Jadakiss as well, called Two Jews and Two Black Dudes Review the Movies. Jeff, if people want to find out more about everything that we have going on, where can they go?
You can always find us at ItsTheReal.com, ItsTheReal.com. There are no apostrophes, no spaces in our name ever.
Right.
Don't even try and put them there.
Please.
We'll take them out.
That's right.
Go to ItsTheReal.com for all It's The Real things, including our merch, including our tickets, including our music and our podcast. Everything you need to know is at ItsTheReal.com.
Yeah.
You can also find our podcast on iTunes. Search for A Waste of Time with It's The Real, or if you're looking for it on SoundCloud, go to soundcloud.com/awasteoftime or soundcloud.com/2Jews2Black-Dudes.
Yeah.
We are also on Instagram at It's The Real, Facebook at It's The Real, Twitter at It's The Real. If you're looking for our music, it is on all streaming platforms. Search for It's The Real's Teddy Bear Fresh.
Yeah.
I'm on Fortnite, but I haven't played in a long time.
When are we doing the Reddit AMA?
We will be doing an AMA on September 26th at 2 p.m.
right.
on Hip Hop Heads on Reddit.
Look forward to that.
So we'll be answering any of your questions. You can ask us anything. We will answer it.
All right.
And I think that's pretty much it.
All right, Jeff, you know we love to shout people out just in general. We love to walk the streets and just shout people's names. We also like to do it here on this podcast to let you guys know that we appreciate the fact that you put people on to Two Jews and Two Black Dudes Review the Movies, to A Waste of Time with It's The Real, to Teddy Bear Fresh, to Rhyme Book, to all of our ventures. We appreciate you, and we want to tell you right now, Jeff, who do you want to tell?
I want to shout out Omega Jackson, who will be in the building for Two Jews and Three Black Dudes Review the Movies on October 3rd at Highline Ballroom here in New York City. He will be repping for Yonkers. He'll be wearing a shirt that shouts out 914.
Shout out to everybody in YO.
Yes.
Jeff, I want to shout out two shows that we are going to be stopping by this week, two live shows that we're going to be stopping by this week. On Thursday night, we're going to be hitting SOBs to guest on the live 3-year anniversary podcast of the He-Man Woman Haters Club, featuring our guys, Mouse Jones and Reek. It's going to be us, it's going to be Wayno, it's going to be Horrible Decisions, it's going to be the Wire's Corner Boys. A lot more people are stopping through. We are thrilled
that Mac Wilds is going to be there.
We are thrilled to be on the same stage as a whole bunch of our friends. Hope to see you guys in the audience. I know you can go get your tickets right now at eventbrite.com. The He-Man Woman Haters Club at SOBs this Thursday night. Also, I want to shout out our friends over at the Officially Street podcast. We're going to be doing their live show Saturday night. That's going to be hosted by Funny Julius. We will be on stage chopping it up with our friends Sayer, J Omega, and Cherry Poppins. I know you can go get your tickets right now at officiallystreet.eventbrite.com. And please don't forget, October 3rd at Highline Ballroom here in New York City, Two Jews and Two Black Dudes Review the Movies live. Get your tickets now at ItsTheReal.com. As always, Jeff, now for real.
Sure.
We'll see you guys next week. Right.